This is the sixth video question video series. In the previous video, we entered some data into our database, and let's see what we have to do today in this video. Here's the question 26, and these are the four questions we have to answer. Okay, first one is create with view to find registered customers at earlier shoe center. Okay, let's jump into our SQL browser and uh, let's clear this query. And you can see these are the tables, and this is the database RLE issue center, and these are the tables inside that database. And here are the data we entered in the previous video. Okay, now we are going to filter some data and create a view. If you don't know what views are, they are not a physical uh, table. It's more like a virtual table. We can create a query and filter some data, and we can store that uh, table as a view. So if we want to use reuse that data again and again, we don't have to write the same query again and again. We can simply use the view like a table. We can just uh, create a select query to view all the data in that view. Let's see how we are going to create the data. First, I'm going to write the select query to filter our data. Let's go back to our question. Here, the question to find registered customers at Arali Shoe Center. Here in the user table, you can see this is our user table. There's a attribute called user type ID. This is a foreign key. If you watch the previous videos, you know when we store the details of our customers, there can be three types of customers in this system. Here you can see in the user type table, there are three types: employees, customers, and suppliers. So we use these IDs to identify these uh, peoples in this user table. Now we are going to use that user ID and find only the registered customer. Okay. I'm going to use the subquery method in this for this uh, filter part. Let's write our select query select asterisk from. First, let's filter the data in the user table. User. Let's execute this one. Okay, you can see these are the data, all the data in user table. Now we can filter the data using user type ID, where user dot user type ID. This time you can use in or equal. In this case, I'm going to use the keyword in, and this is my subquery select. I'm going to output the user type ID of customers from this query. So let's write the select query to our user type table, but this query will only output the user type ID. So user type ID from user type table, where user type name equal to customer. Okay, let's see if this query works. Let's execute this one. You can see there are three uh, records related to this query. So there are three customers. Now, if you want to find these customers, registered customers again and again in your program, you have to write this query again and again. But if you create a query, we can create a query. Let me cut this one and let's uh, write our query to create our view. Create view. Now we can give a name to our view. In this case, I'm going to use the name rec customer, registered customers. As then we have to mention our query. So I'm going to paste the query I cut earlier. Okay, this is the query. Now we can execute this query and let's see what happened. Okay, here you can see our query executed without any errors. Now we can refresh our table, sorry, database, and you can see there's a I mark. This is the view registered customer. Okay, in this case, you can see if we go to the data section, it will show our filtered data. In this view, it's only going to show the customer details in the user table only. Okay, again, if you want to find, if you want these details, you can see and use in your software. You can use this query select asterisk from like a table. We can use this name registered customers. So here you can see when I execute the query, it shows our details, but we don't have to write the query again and again. Now I think we completed the first part of our question set. Now let's move on to the second part. Create with view to find details of more than 10 products with the brand name uh, Bata. Okay, let's go to our SQL browser, and here in the product table, uh, there's no quantity or other details other than the product name, description, and brand ID in the product table. That's because those quantities are in GRN uh, item table. GRN means good, receive, note, and that's the table which will update every time a new stock arrives to this shop. So we have to combine these two tables, and also there's another table called brand to store the brand details separately. So we have to combine all three tables together and then find our answer. So I'm going to write a join query to join all three tables together first. So let's do that one. Select asterisk from first one grn item table. We don't have to use the grn table because it's only storing the grn date and user IDs. We don't need those details. We need only the grn item details. So let's join grn item on, sorry, inner join to product table on, this is the condition, in product table product ID should equal to grn item dot product ID. Let's execute this query. You can see these are the details, and again inner join. Now I'm going to join the brand query brand on brand token brand ID equal to product, in the product table product, sorry, brand ID. Let's execute this query. You can see brand name or the brand details joined to these two tables, uh, and now we can filter the data we need using this join table. Okay, now I'm going to write my uh, argument here, where we need only the details of the product, which, sorry, the brand name should equal to Bata, and also the quantity should be more than 10. Okay, so first one is the brand name. The brand table brand name should be equal to data, and also in grn item table grn sorry, quantity should more than 10. Okay, let's execute this final query. You can see there are three records here. uh, Quantity is more than 10, and also brand name is uh, data. Now we can write our, let me cut this query. Now we can write our uh, query to create the view from this data. Let's do that one real quickly. Okay, create view. Here's the name, product details. Yes, here's the query we cut earlier. Okay, now we can execute this one. Let's see what happened. Here when I reload this database, there's another sorry, we have to mention the specific uh, attribute names here, because you can see the product ID repeated twice. There are unwanted data. We have to mention the specific data we want. And also there's another problem. If you try to show two attributes with same uh, attribute name in a view, that view is not going to create. So we have to use unique attribute names for every attribute. So now I'm going to specify what are the attributes I need. First I need the product ID, so let's remove the asterisk marks and specify the attribute names in the product table. Product ID and also product name. uh, Actually in this case we can write write this query like this. In product table I need to show all the details. You can uh, use the asterisk mark, and then in the brand table I need to show the brand name, and then in grn item table I need to show the quantity of that product. Okay, I think that's enough. Now let's execute this query. Okay, let's refresh our database here, and you can see there's another view created called product details. And if we go to the data part here, you can see these are the data we chose: product ID, product name, description, brand ID, brand name, and quantity. Okay, and again we can write a select query directly to this view to view the details inside that uh, view. Okay, here's product details, and let's execute this one. You can see these are the details in the product details view. Okay, now let's go back to our question set. We completed the second part. Let's move on to the third part. Find the name of the product with the highest selling price. Okay, in this case let's go to our SQL browser and clear this one. And you can see again this is a product related one. So in this case we have to use the product table and also the grn item table, because that's the table which has the quantity and also the selling price. So then we can use that selling price to find the maximum price of the product. Okay, let's write our select query to join. I'm going to join our two tables, select asterisk from product table and inner join grn item table on grn item dot product id equal to the product id of the product table. Let's execute this one. Here you can see these are the two details, and now I'm going to use the condition where we need only the highest product details of the higher which have the highest selling price. Okay, so where product dot sorry not product, if we are going to filter the data using the selling price, that's in grn item table. So grn item dot selling price. In this case I'm going to use uh, the subquery method. So let's write the subquery to output the maximum selling price. So select and output the max selling price, max grn item dot selling price from grn item table, and this subquery will output the maximum selling price, and uh, that price will compare in the details of the selling price attribute in this whole join table. Now let's execute this one. Here you can see this is the product. Roma Italian sneakers are the product which has the maximum selling price. But in this case, we don't need all the details. We need only the product name. So I'm going to change the asterisk mark to product table product name. Okay, and this is the this will be the final uh, answer. And now we can create our view using this subquery. Let's cut this subquery, create view. This is the name, max selling product as, and this is the query we created. Now let's execute this one. Okay, I executed the query, and let's refresh our database, and you can see there's another view called max selling product, and in the table this is the data, Roma Italian sneaker. Okay, now we completed the third part of our question set. Now let's go to the fourth part. Find the name of the product with the lowest selling price. Okay, uh, we find the maximum selling price, and now we are going to find the lowest one. In this case, let's clear this query and write a new one. I'm not going to uh, explain the process of this creating this query because we already created the query to find the maximum one. In this case, we have to find the minimum selling price. So let's join our table, select asterisk from product, inner join grn item on product id should equal to grn item dot product id. And these are the details, and this is the condition where grn item dot selling price in, this is the subquery, select. In this case, I'm going to use the keyword min. We used the keyword max in the previous one. For this query, I'm going to use the keyword min, and let's specify the attribute. We need to find the minimum value in grn item table. Sorry, grn item table selling price. From, we have to mention the table name grn item. Now let's execute this one. Here you can see this is the product which has the minimum selling price, which is 400, and this is the product name Bata Comfy, and we need only the product name. So let's find only the product name, product dot name, and let's cut this query and write our query to create the view. Create view. This is the name. You can use the name lowest selling product. I'm going to use min selling product as, and this is the uh, query, the select query, and let's execute this one and refresh the database. You can see this is our fourth view called min selling product, and let's go to our data. Here you can see Bata config. Okay, now I think we completed the complete question set 36, and I think that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching.